In energy circles, Nigeria is one of those countries referred to as non-producing consumer nations. A non-producing consumer nation is that which produces 10% or less of their consumption. Japan, Germany, Spain, South Korea, France, Italy, and a few other countries are in this category. Most of Nigeria's refined petroleum products are imported from West European countries, and the country continues to waste scarce foreign exchange importing refined products. Nigeria still relies on imports for some 85, 86, 87% of its aggregate consumption of over 50 million litres a day. Given the scale of demand for petroleum products in both Nigeria and the broader ECOWAS region, the country obviously stands to gain significant export revenues if it increases downstream production. Nigeria's 4 refineries, even though they've raised their capacity utilization rate lately, remain low, sometimes at around 30% mark overall. And experts say, were they to run on 80% of installed capacity, the output will be about enough to meet domestic demand. Mr. Tony Ogbigwe is a former president, African Refiners Association, and former Group Executive Director, Refining and Petrochemicals of the NNPC. He joins us on View from the Top today to discuss what's been described as one of the paradoxes of Nigerian life: the continued importation of refined products in a country that has oil in abundance. We'll be discussing this and other issues in the petroleum industry, and I want to thank Mr. Ogbigwe for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
I thank you for tuning in. My name is Modeli Sharafa Isuf. Here's a brief biography of my guest before we settle down to our conversation. Engineer Tony Ogbigwe was born on 14 September 1954. He holds a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from the University of Lagos and a master's degree in plant and process design from the University of Strathclyde, Glasgow. Engineer Ogbigwe began his career with Michelin Nigeria Limited, Port Harcourt, as a management trainee before joining the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation in 1977. First on the Warri Refinery project, later on the Kaduna Refinery project, and later still on the second Port Harcourt refinery. From 2001 to 2010, he was the Executive Project Manager, Nigeria LNG Limited, and from 2010 to 2012, he was Managing Director of the Port Harcourt Refinery Company Limited. He later became Group Executive Director, Refining and Petrochemicals of the NNPC. He was elected President of the African Refiners Association in 2013. Engineer Ogbigwe has also served as a non-executive board member of the Indorama Eleme Petrochemicals Limited and the Institute of Petroleum Studies, University of Port Harcourt. He is a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, a chartered engineer, and a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. You were GED Refining and Petrochemicals of the NNPC some 4 years ago. Before then, you were Managing Director of the Port Harcourt Refining. And before then, as I said in my intro, you were on the team that built 3 or 4 Nigeria's refineries in the 1980s. At what point did the rot set in, and what prompted the free fall into the abyss of dysfunction?
91, 92, 93, we were still meeting all of our internal demand. Now, the interesting thing was, from 77 up until this point of 92, 93, the refineries were carrying out their turnaround maintenance every 2 years, and nobody heard about it. It was a routine, in the same manner in which you service your car after every 5,000 kilometers. And that kept the refineries running efficiently. But from somewhere the mid-90s, everything changed. NNPC no longer was allowed to plan for turnaround maintenance routinely and execute it. The then government decided that NNPC will have to ask for approval before it could carry out turnaround maintenance. The funds with which the turnaround maintenance were to be conducted, NNPC was asked to transfer them to the central bank and make requests whenever it needed to carry out any maintenance activity, or even to buy a pump, the same thing. That was when the rot started. because from the mid-90s onwards, NNPC lost the control over the maintenance of the refineries.
In short, bureaucracy is the reason.
Bureaucracy, that is the prime reason for where the refineries are today.
And why has it been impossible since then, since this has been identified, why has it been impossible to significantly improve the on-stream efficiency of the refineries?
I was requested to take up responsibility as the managing director of Port Harcourt Refinery in 2010, February. At that time, the refinery was completely shut down. Why? No turnaround maintenance had been done from 2000 to 2010, 10 years. No turnaround maintenance at all. Every refinery is supposed to be turned around every 2 years. You shut down the refinery, carry out routine and preventive maintenance, and then start back. And when you start up again, the refinery runs for 24 months until the next turnaround. From February to July, I did a lot of hard work, got the refinery back into operation by July. And then we started planning for turnaround maintenance. Until this point in time, when we are talking, the turnaround maintenance of Port Harcourt Refinery has still not happened. The last time Kaduna Refinery had a turnaround maintenance was 2008. The last time Warri Refinery had a turnaround maintenance was 2004. Palliative measures have taken place, some interventions here and there, just to keep it running. That's the simple reason. There's a second factor. There's been a serious attrition of experienced personnel from the refineries in all these years. Serious